I know you're probably wondering how is Victor mid, but before you start smashing the dislike button or clicking off of this video, first just hear me out. Ever since Victor got drafted, he's been trending recently, and let's just say that he hasn't been off to the greatest start, especially with the news coming out about Britney Spears and all that. But you know what, that's neither here or there, because that's not what we're going to be talking about today. In Victor's first game, a lot of people was disappointed in his performance, and he just overall didn't have the greatest game. And on top of all that, after he finished his first game, he proceeded to say in his post-game interview that he didn't even know what he was doing.
Honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing on the court tonight, but it's you know, I'm trying to learn for the next games, and the importance is to be ready for the season.
Well, you know us as humans and NBA fans, we tend to overreact to things every now and then, and I think that a lot of us have been overreacting to his first game. But we can clearly see that he bounced back in his second game, scoring 27 points and having 5 blocks. Now, if you're watching this video, chances are that you've probably played ball before. And for all of my fellow hoopers out there, I have one question to ask you. Do you think that you could make the NBA if I gave you 2 years to fully practice? Now, if you're telling me that the answer is yes, then I'm probably gonna assume that you're 6 foot or taller, because if not, then you probably won't make it. But now I'm gonna ask you the same question again, but I'm only gonna give you 3 months this time, and you're gonna be 7'4". You see, the thing about basketball is it is 100% a height-based sport, and if you are tall enough, you can basically just bully everyone in your path. Victor Wembanyama is 7'4", and there's nobody in the league that's as tall as him. And Victor's height alone is truly what makes him so great. So I want to explain to you why, in my opinion, Victor Wembanyama is mid, but because of his height alone, he could wind up being one of the greatest players of all time. Oh so fresh, oh so smooth, it's your boy Eli back with the groove, and if you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit the big red subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any of the content that we have going forward. Now let me give you guys a really quick story time. You see, me and my cousin the other day decided that we would go and play basketball at our local park. There was one guy there that must have been about 6'4", but if not, he was definitely taller. And as we were setting up the teams, I believe it was a 3-on-3, so we had about 6 players. And as we were setting up these teams to play, I figured that me and my cousin would be 2 of the best players there, which technically we were, and then we'd pick up one of the other guys, and then we'd let the tall guy get the other 2 guys that, you know, weren't as good. So as this game started off, we immediately had problems defensively trying to guard somebody that was about 7 inches taller than everybody there. Now, when I tell you that this kid absolutely bullied us, I mean he just absolutely destroyed us, especially when it came down to the paint. Now, if I'm being honest here, he really wasn't the greatest shooter, but he really didn't need to shoot any baskets, because once he got to the paint, it was game over. So after playing one-on-one, we figured that we're gonna have to double team him anytime he enters the paint. So even with this new strategy and us putting all effort into trying to make sure that he doesn't score any more paint points, we still simply couldn't stop him because he was too tall. So needless to say, if you guys are still wondering who won this game, it was the team with the 6'5" player. Now trust me when I tell you that we tried our absolute best, but to our demise, nothing actually worked. For the rest of the day, that basically had my mind spinning and just thinking, bro, only if I was 7'2", I would probably be in the league, right? I mean, let's be honest here. Basketball and height is like a match made in heaven, and once you're tall enough in basketball, you could really do anything you want. So I was just thinking to myself all day, what if I was 7'2", bro? I would really be in the league balling right now. But you know, just because you're really tall doesn't mean that everything is gonna work out great for you. Because a lot of people don't always tend to realize that even though you may be the tallest player on the court, that's not always the greatest thing for, you know, just you as your well-being. Because one of the biggest problems with being over the height of 7 foot, or being in that specific 7'1", 7'2", and up range, is that for most of your career, you're probably going to be battling injuries. Thankfully for Victor, he hasn't battled any serious injuries yet, but with his body type and his player build, it's very likely that he will get injured during one of these games. Now, I don't want to come off like I'm hating on the guy or anything like that, but according to history alone, chances are Victor is going to miss a significant amount of time while he's in the league, just simply due to injuries. I mean, we've seen extremely successful 7-foot players have their whole careers derailed due to injuries. And one of the first names that comes to mind when I think about injured 7-footers is definitely Yao Ming. because Yao Ming had great potential and could have been one of the greatest basketball players, especially to come out of China, but due to his constant injuries with his knee and specifically his left ankle, his career was drastically shortened and he missed out on a lot of games because of it. We've even seen it happen to Arvydas Sabonis, which is DeMontis' dad, and it's very common to see 7-foot players go down with serious injuries. But what if Victor Wembanyama can actually stay healthy? Now, first of all, in my opinion, if Victor Wembanyama is going to be in the league for a long time, he's definitely going to have to get in the weight room and start putting on some muscle. And the type of transformation that I'm looking for is definitely going to be huge, because the way that he's built right now, I can literally see his bones, and something tells me that that's not a good thing. So when I think about transformations, the first player I think about is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Look at Giannis when he's a rookie in the league. Now, if you compare that picture to how he is today, we can clearly see how much muscle he has put on throughout the years, and this has especially helped him while he plays in the paint. And just to prove my point even more, Victor Wembanyama, when he was playing back in France with his team and they had to play against USA, Victor constantly found himself getting bullied by this 300-pound monster named Kenneth Lofton Jr. Now, if you look at this footage here, Kenneth is just absolutely bodying Victor in the paint, and there was just simply nothing that Victor could do to avoid this. And despite Victor being a foot taller than him and Kenneth weighing over 100 pounds more than him, Victor still wasn't able to block any of his shots. And honestly, if it wasn't for Kenneth playing so well, they probably wouldn't have won the series by 2. So this is a prime example of why exactly Victor needs to put on more muscle so that he can be ready to play in the league. Now, I'm just gonna be honest here. When Victor plays, I don't see anything necessarily extravagant about his game. There's nothing that particularly excites me, but the fact that he's 7'4" is what changes everything for everyone that plays with him. I mean, we've even seen him block shots time and time again at the 3-point line. I mean, it looks like he's slagging off and giving the defender the opportunity to shoot the ball, but with his length, he's able to get to that ball and block it away within a matter of milliseconds. So yes, maybe calling him mid is a bit of a stretch, but if we're being honest, it's not going to take that much skill to be great when you're 7'4". So basically, there's 3 things that Victor's going to have to do if he wants to be great. Number 1, he's going to have to play his role. Number 2, he's going to have to stay healthy. And number 3, he's going to have to put on more muscle. So if you made it to the end of the video, comment Victor down below just so that I know. You guys can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and even Twitter as well. All of my links will be in the description. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications just so that you don't miss any of my videos heading forward. And until next time, as always, let's light 'em up.